Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. Tully Burnalot here, coming to you straight from the sunny land of Portugal. Before we begin with today's video, I would like to present a definition to you. What is a black box system? A black box system is a system whereby you have an input that's turned into an output by means of a process or a series of processes that you cannot look at or cannot interact with. Those systems are inside the eponymous black box. It's black because it's opaque. You have no idea what's going on. All you know is there's a stimulus and there's a response. What's going on in between is either completely irrelevant or you just can't look at it. This is mostly prevalent in behavioral models of psychological behavior. It's also prevalent in stuff like neurochemistry because most of our conscious processes are not really understood properly. You could argue, in fact, that many games, in fact all video games, are black boxes because you don't really see what's going on in the core, the code, unless you go dumpster diving off the game's backyard. But that's a good thing. You're not supposed to look at the code. The code is the structure of the box. What matters is that in the game, you are capable of looking at how the process is translated. For instance, in a game like Dragon Age Origins, you know that an input, stabbing someone, creates an output, damage. And you know how that works. It factors in weapon damage, it factors in your personal skills, and it factors in the enemy's skills. You know how this works. In a racing game, if you turn left, you know the wheels are going to turn, and the forces of physics are going to force the car to turn as well. In an FPS, if you click the button, if you click the mouse, you know that your trigger is going to be pulled, the propellant in the projectile, is going to the propellant is going to be ignited, and the projectile is going to fly out the barrel and kill someone. Feedback, visual, textual, or implied, is necessary in every game, even if it takes some extrapolation to find out what exactly that feedback is. For example, in Game Dev Tycoon, a game I very much liked, there was a major issue with the fact that reviews were not informative. They didn't really give you a lot of important feedback. However, you knew what you were putting into the game. The input was not so much the creating of the game, but also the fact that you were putting points here and points there and points there. You had some measure of control over the system, and by applying some real-world logic and extrapolating some of it, you could find out what games were good. Through trial and error, you could find out how to make good games. You couldn't see the code behind the scores, and that was a good idea, because if you went dumpster diving off the back of Game Dev Tycoon's backyard, which some people did, then the entire game would be ruined. Oh, lol, now I can just look at a spreadsheet, and I can make perfect games all the time. Feedback and transparency is the key word here. The topic of today's video is Pro Gamer Manager, developed by 1 Million Way Studios, and currently available on Steam Early Access for the low price of €9.99 or your regional equivalent. Contrary to what you may or may not think, I dislike having to talk negatively of games. Because, barring certain exclusions, certain exceptions, I know that a game is the product of someone's labor. I, above all, should know how much effort goes into putting something that you want to create. And I know how much it sucks to have that thing criticized. However, that said, I despise early access as a system. I despise the concept of selling potential goodness. Primarily because in many other industries and sectors of economy, selling potential goodness is a felony. Gods know why it's certainly acceptable in the video gaming industry. Problem is, I despise early access, really. I almost hate it. But it's a prime source of games, and I very much like to experience those games. So how exactly am I going to fix that? How am I going to reconcile that? Very simple. Very simple rule. If it's for sale for money, you believe it's worthy of that money. And if you believe it's worthy of that money, well then, I believe it's worthy of feedback. Proper feedback. Let's begin, shall we? Keep in mind that this game has precisely one soundtrack. One. Actually, one song in the soundtrack. I beg pardon. It has one song in the soundtrack. One. And it just loops over and over and over. I have it on very low because otherwise I'd go insane. Now, as you notice, there is no options menu. 0 out of 10. And now here's the big problem I have. You are Christian Stevens, age 17. You just started playing a game called FOBA. In game, you are known as Alejandra. FOBA is the most popular game on the planet, and you just can't stop playing it. Now here's a couple of problems. Number one, you can't customize your character. It's completely randomly selected. This is very bad. It's 2015. You should be able to customize your character. But yes, this is what the game is. You are simulating someone who's playing a game. In essence, you are playing someone who's playing a game. You know, this would be a great point to put that Inception boom now noise, but I won't. Because I have class. Unfortunately, this game appears not to have it, because as you can see, can't does not have an apostrophe, and play instead of playing. This game is rife with grammatical mistakes, and syntax errors, and misspellings. Even for an early access game, this is unacceptable. Proofread things before you put them in your game. But yes, you are controlling this schmuck, who I will now refer to as Red Shirt McGee. Red Shirt McGee lives inside his poorly decorated room, who is, of course, in an isometric perspective. Red Shirt McGee does not have a job. Red Shirt McGee does not have friends. Red Shirt McGee does not do anything except play FOBA. What is FOBA? Well, one would assume would be a fantastic online ballerina. A parody, of course, of regular MOBAs. What is a MOBA, you ask? Think Dota, or think League of Legends, or Heroes of Newerth. That's good. That's good. Now, let's take a look at the things here, shall we? In the rankings. I am not part of a FOBA team, of course. I am at world ranking 32,932. I understand the limitations of making a game, but League of Legends is played by literally millions of people, and I'm pretty sure that 33,000 people being online at any one time would be considered downtime for League of Legends and their server team. But yes, as you can see here, there's a little icons of their characters. Yeah, they went ahead and did characters. Not sure if they did them themselves or they just asked someone. And these are the 5 icons for the player types. Now, if you've ever played League of Legends, you'll know this. You have the AD carry, you have the jungler, you have the mid laner, you have the support, and you have the top laner. Moving on, we have talents. Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay, so let's be honest here for a second. DayZ, when you buy it and when you log in, gives you a warning saying that this game is in development. Online games on early access have a little news icon that says, this is what's coming next. Fantastic, the new patch is going to have this. What they don't have is a feature in the game, in the actual fucking game, that lets you click on it and it just says coming soon. Because you know what this says to me? It says, you just spent $10 on a game we couldn't even bother not to advertise wasn't finished. My reaction when seeing this for the first time was I clicked on it and say, oh shit, I have talent, it's cool. Oh, right. Poor form. Don't put things in your game if they're not in the game. It just makes it blatant. Now, of course, you can go to your profile. Gamer profile, Alejandra, Christian Stevens, age 17. I am a filthy Spaniard. Ugh. Now you'll see that you have a bunch of stats, a fuck ton of stats. Mental stats and gamer stats. Mental stats, of course, having to do with your personal behavior. Gamer stats, of course, having to do with game mechanics, such as positioning, objective control, farming, team fighting, outzoning, lane freezing. Here you can see the first problem with this game. This game kind of just assumes that you've been playing MOBAs. And here's the main problem. I know plenty of people who have not played MOBAs. Even though the current most played game is League of Legends, I believe it does in fact have more players playing it than World of Warcraft, which is sad. GG WoW. Even considering that, MOBAs are not by far are by far not the most popular genre. There are far more popular genres with in total many, many, many more players playing them. So imagine someone who just plays simulator games like Game Dev Tycoon, Game Dev Story, you know, casual-ish games like that. Some just stumbles onto this. He clicks the profile. This person. This person looks at Red Shirt McGee, and he clicks Red Shirt McGee hoping for an action. And he clicks profile, and he looks at all these things, and he thinks, what is lane freezing? What is outzoning? What is itemization? What is positioning? I understand maybe what some of these words mean, but I have no idea what the context is. That is a major problem with this game, and you will see why. For example, peeling. I played League of Legends for 2.5 years. I even got to silver, actually. Actually, I got the gold. I didn't get the platinum, but I got the gold ranking. I have no fucking clue what peeling is. I've never heard it in my life once. Not once. What the fuck is peeling? I don't know. The game does not tell me. I have no idea what peeling does, or what peeling is. And you know why? Because this game has no tutorial. And you know what? I don't like tutorials, personally. That's right, I don't like tutorials. I prefer tooltips. Tooltips are cool. I love tooltips. And you know why? Because tooltips allow you to learn as you need. Tooltips allow you to learn at your speed. You want to do something, you want to learn something, click the tooltip. Tooltips and options menus are the best thing since sliced bread with Nutella on top. But this game does not have any tooltips. It kind of just expects you to know things coming in. And you could say, well, it's a game about simulating MOBAs. I don't know, maybe it's fair. No, it isn't. It is a standalone indie game. It is not associated with any project. If this game was, say, created as an association with League of Legends, then I could accept that. Because, well, it's associated with League of Legends, then maybe, yeah, it's acceptable that they expect people to know. But you can't just make a standalone game as an indie developer and say, oh, I just expect you to know how to play this. That's not how it works. You need to give your players something, some feedback. Research, of course, you can see here. You can learn a special role. We'll get to this soon. Learn a specialty and streaming. Now, streaming is very important because you can see here you have 3 stats: credits, fans, and EP. I don't know what E stands for. I'm assuming the P stands for points. Red Shirt McGee has the ability to stream. Once he reaches, as you can see here, 250 fans, and he has 50 research points, he can research streaming. And of course, he can stream either first-person shooters, or he can stream funny games, or survival games. And of course, he can get money from donations. And the many more fans Red Shirt McGee has, the more money he can make. And that's a good thing, because you have to pay to survive, because you're in a house. You see, Red Shirt McGee does not have a job. Red Shirt McGee does not have any source of income. Red Shirt McGee is in fact a useless waste of space who decided to be useless and just play video games all day long and not do anything else with his life. Red Shirt McGee reminds me when I was in high school. Except, of course, Red Shirt McGee has a fucking house and he has to pay for bills. The only way you can do that is by streaming, which you can't do, of course. You need to research that first. And how do you research? Very simple. You go and play FOBA. Of course, you can watch FOBA, as you can see here. You can learn for the best. You can watch 1 of 4. It tells you, of course, what their current stats are, what their mentality is, what their salary is. I did not know they could make that much money a week. Holy crap. Anyway, this, of course, allows you to increase your stats. How? It doesn't really tell you. And here's the main problem with the stats is the only way the game doesn't really tell you how the stats increase. The only way you can find out how your stats increased is by looking at your stats, writing them all down, going to do something like playing a match or watching a match, and then going back to your profile, writing them all down again, and seeing what the difference is. Now, mind you, that's how science works. I should know. I'm a scientist myself. I'm not even being ironic with that. I have run experiments in laboratories in my faculty. What is that? It appears my phone is ringing. I'm going to ignore it entirely. I have run experiments in my school faculty. And that is how science works. You take an initial measurement, you do something, and then you take another measurement. If you notice my sound getting weird, that's because I was moving around. However, video games are not scientific experiments. I shouldn't have to take an initial measurement, do something, and then take another measurement, and comparing the two to see how my stats increased. Because a sane, well-developed game just tells me how the stats increased. 2015. I shouldn't have to be measuring everything to see what happens. Basic game design. And here's another problem. You have no fucking clue what any of this does. And you know why you don't have any clue what any of this does? I'll tell you. Let's go play a match, shall we? Let's go play FOBA. Initially, you have two options. Try new champion, or try to counter enemy mirror. Now, of course, you have no idea how to counter because you have no fucking clue what the game is. You have zero knowledge of mechanics. This is the one consistent thing that I know, is that a high score in mechanics is needed to effectively counterpick. Let's try new, okay. Let's do it like I did, which is a normal, which is actually defensive or passive. Let's focus on champion limits. Please notice that every single time you start a game, this happens. You have to go through the entire screen. You can't speed it up. You can't skip it. You can't click on it with a mouse to make it go faster. Nope. You gotta wait. Because fuck you. You gotta wait. That's all. This looks nice, doesn't it? It's got nice little pictures, it's got band champions, you got nice and everything. It tells you what the team is, even if it has no spaces in between. It looks nice, doesn't it? And you're thinking, well, now we're going to know exactly what the stats are for. It's going to tell us how they're used, right? No. This is Pro Gamer Manager. You have no idea what's going on. Pro Gamer Manager is a black box game. You see, you have the input, which was initiate match, and then you have this output. First of all, this has feedback. Second of all, the feedback is fucking useless. Because it doesn't fucking tell you anything because you didn't actually see the game go. As you saw, you told your person to play. So he did. Were you expecting anything else? He played the game, not you. Fuck, you don't need to know what's going on. He needs to know what's going on. And here's the problem. And this is something that's even worse, because you saw the worst case scenario, which is a game that just went by where nothing happened. Let's try that again, shall we? Defensive passive. Champion strengths. Let us wait again for the entire screen to go by. And the music is still looping on the background. Yeah, this is the problem. Every once in a while, you have this. Completely random questions. It says something here, chance to become better of bravery. What does that do? What's my chance? What does become better mean? How much does it increase? What does bravery do? You don't know. Because the game never tells you. Ever. Ever. And you might be thinking, well, if you can't see what's going on in the game, how the fuck are you supposed to make an informed decision? Short answer is, you're not. Long answer is, you're not. That's all I have to say, really. When I told you that this game was a black box, I lied. This game is a black box with a monitor. It's a black box that you put an input, which is start game, and you have an output, which is a result. And then it has a monitor. And every once in a while, that monitor lights up. And it asks you a question. What do you want to do with the system? You want to do this, yes or no? And you're just sitting there wondering, how the fuck am I supposed to answer that? I have no clue what's going on in the system. It's a black box. How the fuck am I supposed to say yes or no? Well, the game expects you to do that. And the game tells you, if you do this, you have a chance to become better at bravery. Do you want Red Shirt McGee to be better at bravery? Do you want Red Shirt McGee to be braver? Well, you gotta answer this. What does it do? I don't know. How does it become better at bravery? I don't know. What do both options do? Fuck if I know. I don't know. All I know is it says you have a bad game so far. Ask a teammate to swap places with you. Yes or no? Literally every single possible random event that you will get in this game, every single one, is incredibly and highly contextualized. And in an actual MOBA match, it would depend entirely on how things have been progressing so far. I have been in situations where this has happened. I have had a bad game. I've been in situations where I realized I need to swap. I've been in other situations where I realized I mustn't swap. What am I supposed to do if I have no fucking clue what's going on with the game? I don't know. Let's say yes. And you might be thinking, well, maybe the indicator on the side is telling you something important. No, it isn't. And you know how I know this? Because I went through the painstakingly retarded decision to accurately measure with a fucking ruler on the screen how much that moves. It moves in the exact same fucking way, whether you be playing well, playing badly, solo queue, or team. It is not an indicator. I have no clue what it is. It's a yellow bar. Maybe it's a piss bar, like someone said in Jesse Cox's stream. Maybe it's a piss bar, and halfway through the game you have to get up and go piss. Maybe that's why you're always losing. Bot lane got outplayed and dominated. You have these little quotes by spectators, and they tell you nothing. And you know why? Because you can't do anything. These things here supposedly tell you how much you increased in a particular skill. As you'll notice here, I have been increasing slightly. I have better skills. And supposedly, better skills means you'll be able to go ahead and you'll be able to play better. But the main problem is you never see it happening. You have no, and I repeat, no fucking frame of reference. And that's the main problem with this game. Because it has fucking potential, and I can see a very good game emerging from this. But as it stands, it's a ginormous black box. You have no clue what's going on in the game. You're expected to just make decisions based on what's going on in game that you have no clue what's going on. Sometimes this happens, and you just don't get anything. Anything. Your character just decided to play the game, and then you have no frame of reference. You don't know what happened. You don't get any random events. You just input, output. You input, play game. You wait there for 10 seconds. Your guy plays the game, and you get this. Defeat. And then it says, Support Hundra was a masterful soaker this game, with another fucking spacing error. And it says, Defeat. Opposing strengths. Objective denial in lane phase, and carry crushing in team fights. What if someone doesn't know what carry crushing is? What if someone doesn't know what a lane phase is? What if someone doesn't know what a soaker is? This game suffers from a massive case of black box syndrome, in that it just expects you to know things going in. Doesn't tell you a single thing about how it works. Single thing about how it works. And then it just gives you random results. And you're stuck grasping at straws, trying to understand how the fuck things work. Now, mind you, there are some interesting things that you'll eventually see. The fact that you can be aggressive, defensive, or balanced, the fact that you can focus on knowledge, strength, or synergy, this is a good idea. These are a lot of good ideas that I'm seeing here. But the problem is they just don't work because you don't give the player any sort of feedback about the game. You don't know what's going on in the FOBA. Like this, chance to become better at decision making. Enemy team has all ultimates on cooldown. Group up and go all in. I don't know what to say. This can be either a yes or a no, depending on what stage of the game we're in, how both teams have been doing, and how exactly we're itemized, and how much communication is going, and a whole host of other factors, none of which we have accessible. We're literally supposed to just make a blind decision. Yeah, go all in, who cares? Yeah, sure, why not? Defeat. Support got fed Snowball Insanity. Gamer score 5. I still got fans, still got research points. Increased warding and dodging, increased everything in the skills. I don't know what's going on. And then, of course, you have a rage bar. Supposedly, if your rage bar fills up high enough, you have a chance of being banned because you got too salty. Which is actually fucking hilarious, if you ask me. That's fucking hilarious. And I like that bit of humor. I like the fact there's a rage bar. In fact, color me stupid, but I like the fact that rage actually, if you don't win any games and you just kind of go to bed, rage continues for several days, which means that you're going to have a series of bad games, and 5 days from that day, you're going to be going, fuck me, I fucking salty fuck. It's hilarious. I don't know, maybe I should. Yeah, let's do that. Who cares? I don't care. Fuck if I care. I don't give a shit. Yeah, sure, why not? I'm a support. I don't care. It's frustrating because I can see a kernel of a good game here, and yet it refuses to pop. It's like a fucking popcorn. It's a popcorn that refuses to pop. And you want it to pop, but it doesn't. And it's so frustrating. And then, of course, there's the fact that you play like 4 or 5 games, and then you go to bed. Because fuck being a useful, productive member of society, I can just play FOBA all day. And then, of course, do this. If you keep losing FOBA, try to learn another specialty. And every time you go to bed, when you're in solo queue, when you're in solo queue, then you get these little tips, vague tips on how the game is supposed to work, that don't help you a lot, because you have no clue how any of this right here affects you. 2, you have no clue how to increase this beyond playing. 3, you just don't know. The game gives you no feedback. No feedback whatsoever, and it always has this annoying music in your ears all the time. Ugh. Now, eventually you can research a specialty, which means you can either specialize in top lane, mid lane, bottom lane, jungler, or support. And then you can further specialize in chasing, dueling, farming. It's a very good idea. It really is. This game has a very good concept. I'm not going to deny that. In fact, I very much like the concept of this game. I very much do. Very much. Like, for example, you can specialize a role. I'm going to specialize in mid. Because I like playing mid game. Malzahar for the win. And then, as you're going to notice now, hang on a second, you can also research Master Champion. And when you Master Champion, you can use a comfort pick, which is just play that champion. And as you get progressively better, so does your performance. It's noticeably better. You win more matches. So you get some level of feedback, but that's not enough. You don't get any proper feedback. You don't know anything about the game's items. You don't know what the game's champions do. You don't know anything. What's going on? All you know is it's a generic MOBA that operates on 3 lanes, 5 players, with 80 carry, top lane, jungler, and mid. Which could be said for literally any other MOBA that came out after League of Legends and Heroes of Newerth. In fact, you could say that's basically what every single MOBA after the original Defense of the Ancients came out. It's not enough. You need some feedback, even if it's just a little title screen that says current stage in the match, early, mid, late game, and gives you like a rundown of everyone's health and everyone's level. That's all I want to know. Anything. Something like those football manager games and their quick resolve. Anything. Just a simplistic something. Anything. Because that would fix it. If you just had that, the game would be worth $10. If you just add that fucking feedback, the game would have $10. I'm not expecting them to have a fully developed MOBA. For obvious reasons. If this team developed a fully developed MOBA, they might as well just market that instead of a mobile player simulator. But something is required beyond these very vague, very, very vague indications of what may or may not be there. That said, Again, this game has a very good concept. I like this game's concept. I very much do. I like the way this game is going. I like the things it's trying to do. I even like the UI. Color me impressed. And you know why? Because less is more. To me, less is more when done well. And I think this game does it well. It's very nice. I like simplistic UI. You don't need flashy, zoomy things. You just need a UI that gets things done. I'd like to show you one more thing. Let's see if I still have this. Hang on for a second. I think I need to do something here. 2 seconds, please. There we go. We're here. See, this game has 2 phases. There's a solo phase, and then there's the team phase. I believe it is possible for you in solo phase to be picked up by a team. Alternatively, you can set up your own, very own not League of Legends, FOBA esports team. Now, this is a very good, again, this is a very good concept. Because here's what you do. You have a team room, right? And you get to fire and hire different people. You can only recruit once a day. You have team morale, you have team synergy, you have a randomly assigned name for the team. Again, you can't pick your team name. That's very bad. If you have a scout, you can go ahead and, as you can see here, he's already scouting for me. Go to team room. You can go to tactics. If you have the proper, if you have the proper research, because you do actually have research in this phase as well. Organization. There you go. If you have proper research, you can have a meta tactic. There's actually a lot of meta tactics here. Early game snowball, late game, duelist, objective control, counterattacking, trap, numbers advantage. There's a very, very nice amount of meta strategies. As is here. For example, the overall mentality. Balance, defensive, offensive tells you what happens here. Who's a team captain, who's a team fights initiator, or initiator. But again, this suffers from the same problem. It expects you to just know going in what these things mean. Doesn't explain that at all. Period. And then it doesn't really give you any real feedback. It gives you even less feedback than before. Because you don't even get random events anymore. You just play a game as team. That's it. That said, I like the concept of having your own esports team and going ahead and managing them. Because then you go ahead and notice you have a lot of staff as well. You have a community manager, you have a football scout, you have a finance director, you have a sponsorship manager, a streaming manager, a coach, a chairman, TV staff. The whole point of this part of this mode is slowly building yourself into a superstar team. And for that, you play a league match. Now, for example, I already bought all the tech upgrades because I had a fuck ton of money from when I streamed. I basically streamed and did nothing but stream for days before getting myself an esports team and expanding. But you can progressively get better upgrades. For example, your practice, which I can unlock a practice schedule and supposedly make you better. Of course, it suffers from the same problem, which is you don't exactly know how that influences anything. And you can hire more staff. These staff can help you get more money or get more fans. For example, if you go into tech. Tech. There you go. Website can get more fans, more money. eShop can do this. Merchandising, community manager. Everyone else, I believe, just gives you more. That just gives you more fans. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Matches. Unfortunately, there's no league. There's no league season going on. But there's a league here. Here's the deal. You see the fact that I'm here, right, on the bottom. This is Amateur League 2. Let me just show you something. If you're hearing something that was Skype, I'm sorry. I forgot to set alerts off. Let's see here. Okay. Let me show you something. It was Amateur League 2, and I was supposed to go down. Wait, what's that? Thank you. Sometimes you get these random events where you basically get money from random things. It's very useful. Okay. What did the organized team room do? Wait, no. Team room, scouting. Yes. Yes. Oh, wait, no. Ooh, no. No. Too expensive. Regardless, this is how basically the game works at this stage. You have to manage your team, who of course have their own salaries. You have to manage your staff, who of course have their own salaries and they have their own little things. For example, the finance director is supposed to give you more opportunities to gain income and reduces your overall spending, which is very good, mind you. Otherwise, you'd be fucked. And then, of course, you gain money by having your own e-shop, your merchandising, your website, and, of course, winning league prizes by getting first, second, or third place. Let's see if I can get myself a league match here. Hype is real. Yeah, sometimes you get these little indicators here about something like this, but again, this just falls into the whole no feedback thing. You have no idea what any of this means, and this does not affect you in play at all. Sometimes you get a little fluff about an item being nerfed or buffed or added or removed, and it doesn't really matter because you have no clue what any of that means because you never see the items in the game. Come on. But yes, when you're not in a league match, you're not in a league season, you're basically just going through every day and yeah, sure, whatever. Basically going through every day and waiting for the next season to start. Notice how I've gone up a league. It's quite interesting, isn't it? It's quite interesting. Now, I'm going to tell you why exactly I think this game right now does not deserve being up for sale. You'll notice that I was going down a league, and somehow went up a league, right? Let's play FOBA. This is how it works, right? You have 8 matches. You have 8 teams. Every season, you have 7 matches. And the player with, supposedly the team with the most points, I think 1 victory is 2 points. The team with the most points, of course, gets on top. The first 2 teams progress to the next league. The bottom team goes down a league. And then, of course, first, second, and third places get cash prizes, depending, of course, on what the place is. The first cash prize is ludicrous. So yes, you don't actually get to get comfort picks. It's entirely random what you pick. So let's do this, right? Let's do this. No random events here. You've got to the esports phase. You don't have the right for random events. Red Shirt McGee is now part of a team with Mauve Shirt McGee, Blue Shirt McGee, Blue Shirt McGee, and Beige Shirt McGee. Oh, it's a defeat. Let's mark that down, shall we? That's 1 defeat out of 1 game out of 7. That's 1 defeat, 0 victories. I'm not going to say much else. I'm just going to go through this, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean. It's 1 defeat and 0 victories. Notice again how I was supposed to go down a league, but I went up a league. This is because, despite being in last place, I somehow managed to end up in first. Got the fucking tip yet? Got the fucking hint? Let's see. Second match of the season. 2 out of 7. What's the fucking result? Oh, I got 1 victory. Got 1 victory. That's 1-1. It's 1-1. I'm actually writing this down on wood. Sure I am. See here. Well, fuck you. You're doing what I want. Of course, if you lose team morale. If you win team morale. Regardless of whether you win or lose, you gain team synergy. This is supposed to be good. I don't know. It's like I can't compare my stats to those of other teams, so I have no idea why I lose or why I win. Because again, this game doesn't fucking tell you anything. 0 feedback. It's even worse now that they don't have any sort of random events. We're just supposed to play. And it just sort of happens. Victory! Okay, this is retarded. And I say this because I've had nothing but defeats so far. And suddenly I'm in a league I'm not supposed to be in, and I'm just getting victories. Yay. I was gonna show you something, but apparently I'm not gonna be able to. So it's 1 victory and 1 defeat and 2 victories. Okay. Apologies for the Skype. I really forgot to set alerts off, and unfortunately, I'm not going to go ahead and turn them off now. Because fuck production values, am I right? Lol. God damn it, region. Give me a defeat. Okay, that's 2 for 2. That's 2 defeats and 2 victories. That's 4 matches. I need 3 more matches. And again, you can't speed this. I'm clicking. Frantically clicking. It doesn't work. You have to sit through it all every time. And it's annoying as shit. And it's still the same music looping over and over. Okay, so it's not actually going to show you. It's probably not going to do what I wanted it to do. It's not going to be able to reproduce it, unfortunately. So it's 2 defeats, and I can't. Unfortunately, I can't pay you more because the game doesn't let me. I would pay you more if I could, but unfortunately, I can't. That's 2 defeats and 3 victories. Oh God. I think I might be able to show you. I think I might be able to do it properly. I think. Let's see here. Come on, baby. Come on. Give me a defeat. I want to prove a point. Defeat, please. Thank you. That's 3 for 3. 3 defeats and 3 victories. Hopefully the last one will be a defeat as well. Because then I can prove a point. Again, for example, new pull patches live in the servers. There was a nerf to one of your general most picked items. And you don't know how he's going to be affected because you have no fucking clue what his itemization is, nor do you have any fucking clue what the item does. No feedback. And this fucking screen is annoying me. Just let me speed through it. God. I also find it very, very interesting that he's unhappy with his practice schedule. We haven't even unlocked a practice schedule. We have to research practicing. Okay, so it's 3 defeats and 4 victories. Finished 8. I finished on 8th. Oh. I get to prove my point. Here's the deal. You notice how I looked at the match, at the league scoreboard. Right? The league scoreboard. And I was in 8th place. I was supposed to go down, and yet I went up. Notice how, despite the fact that I won 4 out of 7 matches, I ended in 8th. This game, and this is a bug that I've been able to reproduce, this game is a Schrodinger's black box. And you know why it is a Schrodinger's black box? It's because if you log out and relog, it disappears. But if you're in-game and you look at the score, the score is actually logged. Don't get me wrong. If you look at the scoreboard, the league scoreboard, then you are logged in that position. But if you never look at the scoreboard, you default to 1st place. This is why I, despite being in 8th place, progressed from League 2 to League 1. In League 2, I had 6 defeats and 1 victory. I never looked at the scoreboard, though, so it placed me in 1st place, gave me the first fucking prize, and progressed me. And because I looked once at the scoreboard, and apparently I can't even look at the scoreboard now. Fantastic. And because I looked once at the scoreboard, that means my position is locked on that scoreboard until I look at it again. And I can't even look at the scoreboard. I can't even play. For whatever reason, I can't even play. I don't know why. No idea why I can't play, but apparently I can't play FOBA. I have a whole team, and now it's a game-breaking bug. Fantastic. But yeah, I couldn't show you this, unfortunately. But this is something that has in fact happened. I'm not even kidding. I have had leagues where I lost every single game, seasons where I lost every single game, or I just won one or two. And because I didn't look at the scoreboard, it defaulted to giving me first place and progressing me through the leagues. And because I looked at the scoreboard, it locked me in that position. This game is a Schrodinger's black box. Because if you look at a game at the season scoreboard, you're locked in the position that you're in that scoreboard at the moment. I'm not even kidding. Of course, it logs the things, it logs the results, and if you look at the matches and you look at the scoreboard, it matches up. But unless you look at the scoreboard, it defaults to the last position. And if you don't look at the scoreboard at all, it defaults to first place. I'm not even kidding. So yeah, there's a very big problem there. Very big. And now apparently I can't play for whatever reason. I just can't play. Doesn't let me play. Game-breaking bug, people. It's a game about playing phobas, and I can't play phobas. Woo! This game has so much potential, but it needs so much work. I would not recommend buying it now. I recommend letting it lie for a few more months until it gets some more development done. Because this game has a very good concept. This game has very good concepts. This game has very good potential. But this game needs work, and lots of it. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and please stay tuned into the next game. Goodbye.